This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of January 3rd, 2022. This week is brought to you by the planet Venus. And it's actually a pretty quiet week, at least compared to the last few that we've had. Jupiter, planet of expansion and indulgence, is now solidly in the sign of Pisces, where he's going to stay until, I think, May. So there's a gentleness in the air that we haven't experienced in a while. He was briefly in Pisces in the spring of 2021, giving us a tiny foretaste, but that was right before big eclipses started up. There was a lot going on to detract from the gentleness, not so much going on now. Now we have the gentle roll out of the Capricorn new moon of January 2nd and looking at life from a very practical, project management, goal-oriented perspective. That rollout will be actually very slow because Venus is still retrograde, and then as the month goes on, Mercury will also retrograde just a few days before Venus wraps up her time. The new moon was ruled by Saturn. Saturn doesn't like to do anything quickly, and this week we sure are not doing anything quickly. It is a Venus retrograde week with a vengeance, looking at what used to be, thinking about past relationships, thinking about re-examining values that we had, situations, people, money deals that we had, and recognizing how different we are now and updating what we're letting in our lives to match that. The days around Christmas, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, the 24th and 25th of December, were massive turning points in shaking us loose from old agreements, old setups, old systems. I have seen an awful lot of people hitting a point of not putting up with, not tolerating, not allowing all kinds of relationship patterns that previously defined who they were. This week we move from saying no or not going to do that anymore to opening to what we might want. There is a kind, gentle, outstretched hand between the two rulers of love this week. On the 5th, Venus and Neptune, a sextile, an opportunity aspect. It's alluring, it's appealing, it's enticing, but it doesn't fall in your lap and make itself happen. You have to accept it, embrace it, interact with it. Venus in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces has the potential to bring a higher sensation, a loving sensation, a compassionate approach to the Venus retrograde review and to what we are building, working on, firming up in our lives right now. It offers the ability to link heaven and earth, higher consciousness, and really practical, concrete experience desires. This could include nostalgia for what no longer exists, and it could take the form of compassion, forgiveness, or just a cessation of bad feelings in any situation that hasn't worked out. We are clear about what our heart wants. We're clear about those desires. The Sun meets with Venus on the 8th, and this brings consciousness, awareness, aligning our sense of self and how we're going about our lives with what we have learned so far in the Venus retrograde journey. Reliability has a newfound appeal, follow-through, salt of the earth, tangible, showing up, following through, traits that when people are very young, they often disdain because they want a person or a partner or someone to date who is more exciting. But now our hearts want something that is solid and reliable and will show up and be there, whether it is a goal, a person, a relationship, what we're building toward with our money, with our careers, some kind of path in our lives. Even after everything we have been through, this might not be the most self-evident, obvious process, because you may still experience a little hesitancy to actually go for what you want, to actually take steps toward making it happen, to take steps toward a goal. But there are little nudges this week as well. Venus and the Sun are both in an uncomfortable aspect with Mars, which is how we push things forward. Mars is in the sign of Sagittarius, freedom-loving Sagittarius. Don't fence me in, Sagittarius. I know my mind and I know better than you do, but I'll make a joke about it, but still prove my intellectual superiority to you, Sagittarius. Venus and the Sun are in super adulting mode, and the aspect that they're making to Mars nags at us and nags at us and nags at us. This is step up, suit up, show up energy. This is the aspect that I liken to a little piece of gravel being in your shoe and trying to get it out and trying to get out and finally having to rearrange how you are wearing things. This pushes us to an evolved, different way of approaching things. And speaking of the piece of gravel in your shoe metaphor, I had one last week, and no matter how many times I shook out my shoe, it was still there. It had somehow gotten itself actually into my sock. Go figure. So that's what this may feel like this week. But it's fixable, it's approachable, it is faceable, and most importantly, none of this is any huge drama. None of this is any really big deal that will send you texting people and talking and trying to figure out what to do. Compared to what we've been through, easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Welcome to 2022. Homing thought of the week. What is my bottom line? Song of the week. Heal the World by Michael Jackson. And the image of the week is wishing on a star. You'll learn more about this in my forecasts for the month of January and the Capricorn new moon, both of which are posted at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Pisces quick reference guide as a download. Listen to these weekly podcasts and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. This week, I am delighted to be talking about Oracle decks with the creator of one of my favorite decks, the Deck of Character. If you follow me on Instagram or participate in my Facebook group, you have seen spreads I have posted from this deck. Speaking of Facebook, I host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and the January bonus content from the $5 and up level will be 2022 specific. So check it out. And I'm really grateful to the people who do support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.